Why isn't anyone playing Oblivion Override? Is the game garbage or a gem hidden amongst all the other games on Steam? This is a 2D roguelite set far in the future where AI has taken over. Oblivion Override had its full release 25th of January after spending roughly 6 months in early access. You start off the game by waking up in the lab of the scientist William. The story is not told in a big monologue, instead you are fed information by different characters as you play the game. As we just started up the game, we are eager to get into some action. We will check out the lab in more detail later. As for now, we take the portal and head out. We exit the portal in a rusty town with a corpse of you hanging there? Ominous. It's like we've been here before. We head in deeper into the abandoned facility, dropping down and encountering our first teleporter. We will come back to these later in the video. For now, we head up and encounter our first enemies in the game. We use our standard attacks to dispose of the first one. The second one is an elite and have a bit more health, so we use our abilities. Each weapon grants you one ability tied to the weapon, and then you have one ability tied to the mech or character you are playing. Both have a short cooldown after they have been used. There are a few exceptions and passive buffs that can change this, but for the most part this is true. The movement in the game is excellent. You have a dash that you can use in different directions, you can double jump, run on walls, and everything is very precise and responsive. We have now entered a combat room. This will lock you in the room until you clear out all the enemies, so we get down to business. Killing the last enemy grants us currencies and a core. These are permanent effects that last for the run. We get the evil wing here, which lets us refresh evolutions 3 times. For free. Okay, let's talk about evolutions. Up in the left corner we gain nanites as we progress and defeat enemies. These points can be used to enhance your character. In the evolution screen we have 3 evolutions to choose from. You have the cast and what they do in the middle, and as you choose an evolution you will fill up the slots on the right side. You have 12 slots, meaning you have 12 upgrades in total. There are enhanced versions of evolutions you already have acquired, which won't take up an additional slot. Then you also have evolutions tied to your character, to the mech you're playing. These won't take up slots either. You can at any time delete one of the evolutions in one of the slots to make room for better ones or different ones. Because at the bottom you also have specialities. So if you have 2 evolutions that are tied to the same speciality, that speciality will level up, with each speciality have 3 levels, granting you a buffed up version of that speciality. You have 5 different at the start and you can unlock 8 more. This system lets you go wide and choose evolutions that you like and enhance your character from different specialities, or specialize in a few specialities to level them up. For example, I personally like Rage. At level 1 you gain a plus 25% crit rate, at level 2 35%, and at level 3 45%. Yes, this all is a bit much in the beginning, but it will make sense after you play it a bit. We move on, do some more platforming and meet Mr. Shay. I can't pronounce this for shit, I don't know if that's correct. I'm sorry. He has been waiting here for us and have been watching us. He has a welcome gift for us. I mean, a gift could never be a bad thing, right? So we open the chest, which gives us a new weapon. Jet fists. We can't turn down a gift, so we switch weapons and move on. We progress further and find some enemies to test out the jet fists on. As expected, they are awesome. Our weapon skill have now also changed. We can shoot out our fists and retract them for some excellent damage, a few more enemies to dispatch of, and then we're in the next combat room. We make quick work of the enemies, and the last one explodes in currencies. The game isn't overly busy. All enemies in the game telegraph their attacks very clearly, and combined with all the movement options you have, it's easy to handle a large amount of enemies at the same time. We make our way to a bridge and meet our second friendly character, Vic. You have also heard about us and give us a chip that contains a part of Vic's power. This is tied to the lab and we need to die to get back to the lab, so this we'll have to wait for later. For now, we're moving on. More enemies, new enemies, dogs and robot boxers? No problem, our jet fists are strong. Another combat room. And then we find the shop run by Tristan. Here we can buy HP, weapons, a core, and of course a gacha box. Gambling is bad, so we won't do it. Let's move on. We kill some more enemies, make some more upgrades, we make it further into the facility and arrive at a new portal. There are 2 more here, but they are locked for now. We take the portal, an elevator, and arrives at our first boss. Teofan Smasher. This is a gigantic robot with slow attacks that are very easy to read. There's only one ability in his arsenal that caught me off guard, and that's when he smashes his hand into the ground and on the last hit sends out a red light. Now we know this and we can adapt. Halfway through the fight, he enrages and turns yellow. We can't attack him now, so we wait. He picks up a giant piece of metal and starts hammering away, making debris fall down. He now has a new moveset, still slow, so we easily take him down. We pick up all the currencies we get, as we got a lot of it. Most of it's for the lab, so we'll have to wait until we die. We also get a new speciality for beating the boss for the first time. Duel. Low HP results in more attack damage and skill damage, increasing up to 80, 120 and 160% depending on the level of the speciality. Would be nice to know what low HP means, but hey, who knows. We press on and find a new portal. We enter and meet Long. We have apparently interrupted his training, so let's move on. This is the second area in the game and it consists of a lot of tubes. We have new enemies, robots with boomerangs, robots with pipes, and elite robots with more HP and spears. Again, the readability of the enemies are really good and we take them down with ease. As we continue, the area gets more and more hostile, with the roof and walls lined with spikes, and the floor even tries to eat us. Let's take a look at the map. The game's map have heavily been inspired from Metroidvania games, where a clear map is very important. The developers have done a great job here, making a clear map where weapons, shops and other resources you have left behind are visible. The maps can get quite big, so frequent teleporters you find are a great way to skip having to backtrack as much. We make it through the second area and find the next portal. To the central tube station? Oh, I was expecting a train station of some sort. No one looks like a spine and a rib cage. But what do I know of the future? It clearly looks like pulsating eggs are a thing, and it doesn't like that we're trying to leave. Okay, let's tango. Gladys the Annihilator. That name sounds familiar. This one clearly wants to eat us, as we try to learn its moves. It goes in hard with its bite moves, shooting blue balls from its mouth, and rotating lasers from the eye. It also throws in a shin slam from time to time. We get it down to half health, and it gets enraged. We now have 2 shooting hands to avoid, as the head continues its previous attacks. We defeat the Annihilator and reap the reward. A shit ton of currencies and another speciality. Thermal Mastery, spawning 2 surrounding burn cores every 20, 16 or 12 seconds, depending on your level of the speciality, dealing burn damage to enemies who touch them. These last for 6 seconds. We also get a new weapon, a spear. The stats are too good not to switch, so we do it and move on. Into the next portal we go. We arrive to the new area in style, riding a giant cord. As it continues, we oh, look, supplies. We continue on into a brain factory? Brain facility? We have new static enemies we can't hurt, flying ones that shoot lasers, and janitors? We arrive in a room that we first think is a boss room, but it turns out to be just another combat room. The enemies in the third area is far easier to handle. They seems to mostly stand around. I do realize that I have a lot of evolutions and a few specialities that makes it a bit easier. We defeat a few waves and we're done. We progress further into the facility and find another combat room. This time we don't get to face the janitors and the big bladed elite. We instead get the pointy hand robot that can fly and the big shielded guy. He is not messing around and is definitely the most challenging robot so far. He is, however, dispatched easily with our spear. I now realize that we haven't spoken about the spear yet. This is a much faster weapon, and the weapon's attack consists of a flurry of strikes. Very nice. As we progress, we find another room with a ship. We have gotten one of these before from Vic. This is the second one, and this one is a weapon, but again, we have to wait until we die. After some more fighting and traversing, we now enter our third combat room. The enemies are fierce and many, but in the end, we prevail. We have now been everywhere, except, of course, where we need to go. So naturally, we head over there. And yes, it is a portal to the next boss. I mean, the gigantic claw laying around can't be a bad sign, right? Right? This room doesn't look ominous at all, just cozy giant red pillars. Oh shit, the mech angel of death is here. Oh no, it's just Nethys the executioner, with her gigantic hammer. I mean, she gotta fit in, everything else is gigantic. She has some really nice hammer combinations, and then switches to 2 blades. He's fast and jumps around quite a bit. She switches to a gun that can shoot directional shots and bouncing balls. And then we're back to the hammer. Like the other bosses, she has well telegraphed attacks, but here it starts to get a bit busy for me. She has a lot of flashy moves, and so does my character. On top of that, we have 2 little bots that is helping me out. And of course the plane that pops out from time to time. And then I get the boss to half health. She enraged and split into 2, and they start combining attacks. We also see a few new attacks and I get killed. I don't put all the blame on the game, as with another or a few more attempts I'm sure I could take her. It's however a lot of things happening on the screen at the same time. And I can't find any settings to make this better, but we have now died, so let's explore the lab a bit. William wants to chat and start rambling about things we don't understand yet. He also wants us to thank Nico and Tristan as they helped create us. Mr. Shea have also joined us at the lab. Let's see what he has for us. Mr. Shea's services will benefit future runs, as he will place stations, chests and much more in the future for every stage. Not too shabby. We head down to find Nico at the bottom, and here we find the last currency we haven't touched on yet. Shiny coins. These can be used at Nico to purchase new weapons. And if we continue a bit more to the left, we find the garage and the mech suits. Basically different playable characters. So if we look at the first bed, it says unlocked, as it is the character we have been playing, Crimson. If we read further, we see that this is one of the designs by William. Wait a minute, isn't his name William? I have never actually heard the name William before. If we continue reading, the 2 who assisted was Tristan and Nika. William. Didn't William say that Nico helped us? And she's right next door. Here is where I take a look at where the developer Humble Mill is based out of. And yes, it is China. I'm gonna guess all of this is a mistranslation. Or maybe I'm completely off base. Back to where we are doing. Early in the game we get a ship from Vic, and if we pop it in and power it up, we get a new character. Vic himself, or as he put it, a part of his power. We can also see his skills here, and you can read further into what all the characters are good at. There are 4 more to find and unlock, at least to judge by the amount of doors we have here. If we head back up and go further up, we have the catalog. Here is where you can see everything you have unlocked so far in the game. Weapons, cores, enemies, you name it, it's here. And finally at the end we have the share. This one only says activate, surely another translation thing here. Here you can however permanently enhance your character or account, as this persists even if you switch character. Or mech, or whatever you want to call it. Here you can increase your max HP, damage, currency received, get resurrections and much more. Very standard roguelite stuff. I do really like the game. It's clear and executed very well. The movement in the game is perfect. And when you beat the game, you can make the game harder as well, with alert levels. I think there are 8 in the game. This will also alter how bosses look and play, which is a very cool feature. As you play, more bosses will also get introduced when going between levels. The levels themselves vary in layout, but the biomes stay the same. The game also have over 25 weapons, which is nice, with each weapon having their own skills, lending more flair to each run. The translations of a few things and the wording makes the game a bit confusing and convoluted at times. Nothing too bad though. I really think the game is underrated and well worth playing if you like roguelites. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you liked the video. See you in the next one. Bye.